everyone, this is Remy again. Welcome. I'm here. My husband going to, we're trying to go to a bridal cave. Ayan. So ayan, samahan nyo kami at pupunta kami sa cave. Ayan.
All right.
Did you go?
Now we're good. All right.
I don't want him to get scratched up. Are they?
Awesome. All right. You are fine.
Here, Lincoln, back this way.
Thank you, guys. Over to your right.
Sorry, getting confused here. Come on. Oh, that's good. Here, go and hold that, Mommy. I'm gonna take a picture of you. Sure.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this way so we can see sister too. Can I hold this for 2 seconds?
So, look. Oh my god.
Go there, you go first.
Babe, you're gonna miss. It's getting smaller and smaller.
You guys come on in.
What is that?
Maybe not. All right. Is this everybody's first time to Bridal Cave?
Sure. Yes.
Yes? All right. Well, welcome, welcome. My name's Tyson. I will be your tour guide today. This is our bridal chapel. This is where all the weddings take place. We've had almost 4,000 to date. We average about 100 a year. Held our first one right here in 1948. And we've been doing them ever since. Now we hold them right here in front of what we call our giant pipe organ. And this is actually cave curtains, or what they otherwise known as cave drapery. It's a pretty common feature throughout the cave, and you'll see a lot of it. This is one of the larger pieces of it actually, but we have quite a bit of that. You'll see a lot of stalactites. Generally anything that free hangs from the ceiling is considered a stalactite. And then below those you'll usually have a stalagmite. What's really cool though are these little bitty ones. These are what we call soda straws, and they are hollow in the center. What's cool about it though is regardless of the formation, whether it's one of these stalactites or even a massive section of drapery like this, it all starts out like these little bitty soda straws. And they tell us the growth rate is about 75 years for every square inch. So it's a really slow process. So even these soda straws can be 200-300 years old.
Oh.
And then something like this into the tens of thousands of years old. Feel free to take pictures. We don't have any restrictions on that. We'll be exiting the same way we go in, so you'll have a lot of good photo opportunities. Really, we only have a couple of rules. One is we ask that you try not to touch the formations. It dries them out. However, having said that, I would much rather you reach out and touch as opposed to face plant, or if you need to get yourself through a space or steady yourself, by all means reach out and touch. I'm not going to yell at you, but as a general rule, we ask that you try not to. Really, you'll also notice it gets really dark up front. I'll be turning the lights on and off as we go through. So really the only other rule, guys, is please stay behind me, and that's just for your safety. You guys have any questions, or? Yes?
How long did it take to build this?
It took us a few million years. But we didn't build, nature built it. But the cave itself is a few million years old. Most of the formations are into the tens of thousands of years old. Good question, though. All right, guys, I'm going to get another light on here. I'm going to kill a couple behind us.
Oh, look at that.
We are going to go through what we call the lemon squeeze. It is aptly named. It is the tightest fit in the cave. It's tighter than where we came through here, matter of fact, but after that, it opens right back up. So, but it can be a little precarious, so just kind of watch your step, and we will go ahead and move through here, guys.
Squeezing guys, squeezing.
Here.
$15 more, I won't get through here.
I cannot get in. I cannot.
Cool. You look above your head, Dennis?
What if that's gonna be full of day? And then we're gonna die here? Oh my god. Look at that. Where are your feet on it?
Which is good. That's what keeps it growing a little bit for us, but yeah, it's very wet.
Is that gonna be break, babe? Right through
At
your
the start,
head.
it's groundwater, it's making its way through.
Yep. They tell us, now when we're not quite far enough into the cave yet, but they tell us it takes up to about 2 years for that surface water to reach. So yeah, it's an arduous process, but that's all that is. All the limestone and dolomite above us kind of acts like a big Brita filter, so it kind of filters out anything. All the water in here is actually really clean.
The water is trippy.
I'd be lying if I said there weren't any. We do have a few, but we do about 60,000 people a year, and they do not like it. Basically, kind of like someone coming into your bedroom, turning lights on every 10 minutes. Yeah. Well, either that or you hurt them, but they don't really have the ability to hurt us. But yeah, we do have a few bats. We'll occasionally, as we move into a new room, we'll startle one and they'll fly down at us. But I haven't seen one, honestly, in a couple of weeks. So.
Oh, a couple of weeks.
Now, this large section of drapery here, this is the Guinness Book World Record holder for the largest known cave drapery formation in the United States. So very cool. And as we were kind of discussing a little bit ago, honestly, it's mostly all calcium, about 90%, 95% calcium. And that's why you'll see all that white. And it's just calcium that leaches in from the surface moisture. So a lot of times, kind of like what you get built up on your sink if you don't clean it only way over. But we also get some clay and iron ore that leaches in as well. A little bit of magnesium and even a little bit of copper. If you see a green or bright blue patch, that's usually a little copper that's made its way. But it's about 90% calcium, so you'll see a lot of white. And check this out. From ceiling to surface here, if we were to dig our way out, we're only about 50 feet down, so we're not that deep yet. We'll get about 200 feet, though, by the time we're done. Yeah. Check this out. This is cool. We turn that over to Camden High School here every year to one of the seniors.
Yeah, make a wish.
Dollar bills.
It's great sound. The other break already. Some coins out there. Look at this, they break. Really? Or it's the nature break? The stone. Look at that. Can you go there, Bear? Oh, nice. That's beautiful. Look at that.
Hold it tight.
Oops, I didn't mean to turn that one off.
Checking to see if you guys are scared of the dark.
Now, this will kind of give you guys a practical idea, more of a hands-on about the growth rate. This stalactite and stalagmite here, they are on a collision course, albeit really slow. They tell us that gap, we're looking at about 900 years before that finally connects. So they say really, just save your ticket stuff.
I'm gonna have to trust you on that.
Yeah. Like I said, I may not be your guide, but you're welcome to come back and check that out. All right. And of course, that drapery just continues with us as we go throughout. So we're going to move through a portion that we call concussion corridor. You're going to have fun later, man. Yeah. This isn't as low as it gets, but it's a good primer for that. So kind of watch your
Is
head.
there blood on it yet?
If there is, it's probably mine. So yeah, I have knocked myself senseless through here.
Can't resist, can you? Go ahead.
It's funny, because you look down all the time to watch your feet, you know? Concussion corridor.
Oh my God, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So far. That's so nice.
And either side of the rail is fine, guys. You see, we don't have another tour out of that stuff. It's not a problem. However you guys are comfortable.
Must be during the busy season, you're running tours every half hour, is it? You have that?
About if we get a really busy day, we're running about every 20 minutes. And we get, it's, now due to the COVID restrictions, we downsized our tours we try to cap them at about 25. But prior to that, we were running 40, 45 person groups. So we get 3 or 4 tours a year at once. And, yeah, it's a good time.
How long have you been working here?
I started in 92.
Nice.
Notice any changes?
None. Not even a little bit. Mm-mm. I watched some places too.
Have you? Can't see it.
Mm-mm. All right, let me get another light on here. Maybe. Perhaps. Well, else on the right. There we go. I didn't switch it over.
Indian needs to sit up there.
Now what's cool here is that drapery, as it continues to wrap around here, we actually call this the frozen Niagara, because it kind of looks like Niagara Falls, I suppose. But the cool thing about it, before we opened up to the public, and we're going to be going through a tunnel here, the passage that we opened up. So, but prior to that, the only way past this point was up and over the falls.
That sounds like more fun than this anyway.
It is pretty precarious. What they have to do is they scale the wall here, move behind that limestone shelf,
Well, I don't think the little guy can make it.
over and across the wooden planks. Now, once you cross the wooden planks, that's when the fun begins. It's about 100 feet or so of crawl space before the cave starts to
So
naturally.
how do we get up there and take that side of the tour?
We just don't have enough.
Oh.
No, we've been offered too. Really. I'll give you $100 to go that way. Insurance fund.
I'll sign a waiver.
Now, we still use that route if we need to change lights or do maintenance, that kind of thing, so.
You get to go that way, but you can't let us?
Yeah, well, I don't voluntarily go that way. Usually when the boss gives me a couple of light bulbs, he goes, fix it. Darn it, man, really? Anyway.
They have maintenance.
We did, yeah, well,
In
yeah.
Boston, I have maintenance.
Now this tunnel we're gonna go through, I'll give you guys a heads up, no pun intended, this is where it gets fun. It gets down to about 4.5 feet in a couple of spots. So a couple
Well,
of
you
you
don't even have to
will
bend your head
time.
just a little bit.
A couple of you will probably be okay.
Yeah.
But definitely watch your heads. Also, it's really drippy through here, so very good wet. So, if you haven't already. And we will work our way back through the tunnel and back in to see some of the rear rooms. Just kind of watch your head, guys.
Even really flat. They roughed up this concrete for us. That's good.
Bigger next to him. I tell you.
It's getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. What is that? It's just like a silver made. Where are they? I'm lost. Oh my god. Careful with my stuff. There is hole getting over there.
Roughly, that's why we take your picture when you first come back. So you can identify.
Find the bodies 2 days
So there's gonna be
later,
two
they
missing
identify 'em.
We try to keep the mortality
That's
rate
a
at
good
about
idea.
1%. We won't be in this little area too long, but I always like to kind of pause here and make sure we get
I'd like to
everybody
try to
comfortable.
sneak back through that way.
That actually loops around to about 20 feet, right just past where they're standing there. It's almost like a little horseshoe shape.
I kind of figured that, 'cause it looks like you can see light from the other side coming through, so it must connect to
Yep.
what we can see. So I think, how much trouble I get if I try to sneak through there? You lose your job or?
Bloody mess.
Is it
Yeah,
bloody mess?
it is. And it's that good old Missouri red clay, so it doesn't wash out. Yeah, that's the thing about the clay. You know, it's,
I got $10, I can go to Walmart and buy another pair of shoes.
All right, make sure we got
I'm gonna
everybody.
send one of the little kids to go back there just to check first. So.
You guys can come on in. We won't be in this little area too long. I just want to make sure we get everybody without any casualties.
So it's cave, like people go through caves, they crawl up in all these places and see where they go and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of this originally was clay bed, so they would have been going up and over the top and crawling through. I'll show you here in a little bit kind of what they were experiencing as they came through, so it's very cool. But yeah, a lot different than, yeah. All right. You can kind of see in front of us here where the early explorers would continue up and over to get into that next room. We're gonna go there, we don't have to climb. This was all clay bed back here. And what we did is we cleaned a lot of that out, power washed a lot of it out, and it opened up a natural little walkway right around that we can take. But they didn't have that early on, so they would have had to climb to get over. A lot of the area that we're going through was just a lot of clay bed. They didn't have that option. They would be climbing and crawling, squeezing through crawl spaces. So.
I don't think I would.
But very cool. A lot of dense color back here, a lot of soda straws, a lot of calcium and iron and red clay, so it really creates a lot of contrast in color. So quite a bit to see as we work our way through. From this point forward, it's not going to be completely, but it'll be largely single file. You'll see what I mean. So just kind of watch your step, and we will work our way around here. Kind of watch, make sure we get our chamber lights on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's so nice.
That LED light on.
Yeah, we still got the floods on the floor, but about 3 years ago, even our upper chamber lights were all on. And we came in about 3.5 years ago and started changing them over to LED, made a huge difference.
With the temperature in it too, right?
It did help. Yeah, we stay about a constant 60, but with the flood lamps, if we had all those lit up and left them on, it would raise the temperature by about 5 degrees.
Which is hard on this stuff.
It is. Yeah, it'll actually start to allow algae to develop. Which we will come through and spray a couple times a year for the algae growth, but it's a booger to have to fight.
When the water comes.
All right, guys, as we work our way through here. As we work our way through here, you'll notice the elephant in the room, so to speak, and that's this large broken formation up here. Now they tell it that is the only natural break that we know of in the cave. So unlike earlier, it's not due to vandalism or anything like that. They tell us that this happened right around the time of the New Madrid fault quake when it hit. About 200 years ago, I want to say 1812, I could be a couple years off, but about 200 years ago, we had a massive earthquake hit. And when it did, it caused everything over to the left to shift forward. You can kind of see how it slid and shifted. When it did, it pulled that down into two pieces. It will eventually reconnect in a few thousand years. And we will have a very large pair of columns up there. And then, of course, the little column to the left, the little white one, we call that our wedding cake, because it kind of looks like a tiered wedding cake.
Nice.
But the reason the column to the right was not damaged, like this one here to the left, is because everything over here on the right is really steady bedrock. So it's very stable, very strong, and didn't react to the earthquake. But everything over to the left is pretty unstable. A lot of clay shelf, clay bed. So when it hit, it caused that to shift and ended up pulling that too. And the ceilings in here are about the highest in the cave, about 40 to 45 feet up at spots. And so we call this the big room, not for available floor space. All right, we're just going to continue on. We're going to work our way back and take a look at Mystery Lake. And this is where I get to have some fun with you guys too. So watch your heads here. And we will shoot straight back here.
Huh?
There's a lake in here.
There is. They break it, man. They break it.
You'll start to see that water there. Maybe about up here. I'll step off the side here, guys. Move up to the top so we can that.
Yeah. How deep is that?
About 18 feet.
Wouldn't it be fun to put some trout in it?
Yeah, actually, we kind of feel like that. If I'm wondering what you have to keep them fed.
You'd have to feed it.
spiritual water?
Huh?
Spiritual water. Okay. Or maybe that's the miracle water. I know.
Trout in there.
Yeah? That would be kind of cool, or some koi. Put some koi in there would be cool.
Was
That's
that,
the end.
that looks like a ladder and stuff down there in the water.
That is the mystery I'm going to tell you about in a minute, but that is absolutely, that's our main safe there. And here in a little bit, we'll circle around and kind of go, I want to make sure we kind of get everybody here in this general area before I continue.
Then we got the kids' wet lady up there. Go up there and find the fish in the lake. See if you can find the fish in the lake. See if you can find one.
Now, at this point, we're about a quarter mile into the cave, so the cave goes back for half a mile, just straight down where we're at. It comes to a dead end. The only entrance or exit is the one that we came through. So about a quarter mile.
So we can keep going that way.
Nope.
Why can't we see the whole cave?
Oh, there's about another half a
It's
mile.
raining.
We would have to go down and cross the
Wait.
water.
Again, we're not.
Yeah, let's do it.
He
We're
wants
about,
to do it, I can tell he wants to do it.
oh, he had a ball. We're about 200 feet down here from ceiling to surface. Pretty much under the watchtower up at the top of the hill, the Missouri Department of Conservation. We're pretty much directly under that. Now here in a minute, you guys will see, some of you guys have already seen. Mystery Lake, there's actually a ladder and some lumber in the bottom of the water. We have no idea how it got here. We didn't start discovering this part where we discovered it. We didn't start really developing this part of the cave until about 1962. When we did, the first time we threw the lights on water, that ladder and lumber were already here. And we just have no idea. Some of those pieces of lumber are 8, 9 feet long. They didn't have walkways, they were dragging, they would have had to have really wanted to get that stuff back here. Yes, sir. How did we build it? Well, the only part we built was the steps, concrete, and your handrails. Everything else is natural.
Mother Nature built it.
Yep.
That water's pretty deep, too.
They're used to.
Scared away all the creatures.
Humans are the worst creature of all. Scares everyone else out.
They're all the bats out so we don't get to see them.
Now, before we sort of start to make our way back, is anybody scared in the dark? I mean, like on a panic level, like anxiety. This is so cool. It's always things.
Turn them out.
Check this out, guys. This is really cool. This will give us a whole new level of kind of what we were talking about earlier with the early explorers. Very cool. All right, this will give everybody a chance to kind of loop around here. I'll get some lights on, and we will start to work our way back out. Excuse me. There we go.
Go find the fish up there. Go find the fish, man. Go swimming if you want. You're no fun at all.
That's a good photo opportunity for sure. And we will start to work our way back in this direction.
Do you see the ladder?
1827. I had that same question. They'll make it.
I want to drop the damn phone.
This is quite so.
That would be my That would be my luck.
Department of Natural Resources will come in usually a couple times a year, and they kind of inspect just to make sure there's no unnecessary damage being done, and that it's safe to, take people through.
So is the family owns it, or?
It's well, yes and no. It was one family who originally made the land purchase. Written record of exploration in here going back to about 1920. So, but they brought in families, a couple other families throughout the years, and they ended up founding an LLC and created a board of directors for the cave. So it's all legal and financially the way it's supposed to be. But the cool thing is one of the original families that owned it is still maintains ownership. So.
Controllership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have controlling interest, yeah. And they are.
And the grandkids good to work for, are they?
They are fantastic. They really are. They very.
That's where you're looking at it as a spiritual family owner, it'd be the grandkids running it by now.
Oh, I didn't get it. Thank you, sir.
He's not.
Is everybody down for breakfast or?
Yes.
Yes.
We come down from Iowa.
Uh-huh.
Maine.
Maine?
Did you drive here or you
We travel. Yeah.
It is gonna be, they're calling for.
Why not? I don't mind.
Me
Run along
neither.
When we get here.
I figured it sounded like you had an accident and I was like, oh, she's gonna be so
They're calling for a couple of 100,000 likes this year.
Really? I thought it was like 35.
Well, last year we had like 100,000.
No, that's what I said, that's why I thought they lowered it to 35 because of COVID, but they're still saying a couple.
Oh, yeah, they're expecting, it's kind of having the opposite
Yes,
effect.
it
Because
is.
Lake of the Ozarks has kind of become
No.
the place where you go to have fun and forget all the, craziness. Not only that, but they had Sturgis, which was a blowout. And then I guess the rally right after Sturgis got canceled.
Right,
So they're expecting this one changed.
and Arkansas is canceled.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, and they're expecting this one.
Is this, so this, I think, about the last one of the year.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's really, and with we have really lax restrictions on stuff. I think it's really gonna carry, it's gonna be a real big event this year. All right, I guess I might have to get the heritage out to head over this weekend. I don't know, it's gonna be crazy, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. There we go. All right, we'll work our way back to the total here.
Did you like it?
Yeah, that's one of the original pieces of lumber that we found back here.
There's another there. Ken? You wanna get it? Are we past this way before? Are we came over here? Oh, sorry. I don't know either. Just like it's different, right? It's just like different. Look. And get down.
Like a different view coming back the other way.
What's that? It's just like a treasure or something. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking too. It's just like a bone cracking out there.
Now that, I realize right there.
It's a bed there.
Bed. Injured bed. Okay. We are not here before. I don't know.
You'll see actually scorch and leave that black. So anytime like you're in a cave exploring or whatever, you see like black in the area, that's usually from time portions.
We family in that block that purchased it.
Yep. Correct. Just
How'd they clean the clay stuff out, just pump water and then pump it out, or?
yes, but a lot of this first half had to actually be hand dug.
And,
All right. I thought maybe we might really have done it first. We're going to take the initiative since we have it. And we're continue here. Yeah, a lot of this was hand dug out. Now, once we got a little farther back, we had to they were able to do that.
that's cooler than shit, ain't it? Why didn't they point that out? It looks like glass over the top of it there.
The shadow off the top.
Oh, yeah, there's water.
Oh, shit,
Back here it looks like dusty glass.
yeah.
We didn't do any of that. And sure enough, we were doing about 450 people a day. So we really hammered it this summer. And we had our business meeting a couple of weeks ago. We got a very nice bonus. Have the mayor working this summer.
Well, they come in this stuff over here and this is all back down here, the power and down over there.
Yeah.
This is just a hole.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that shelf there, the clay in that area would have been all the way up to that shelf. So that's where you get these little soda straws starting to develop. Those are just, most of that was cleaned out in 52, so that's just the amount of growth since about 1952. Yep.
Can you turn off the lights? Turn off the lights.
This first part is mostly hand done and carried out.
Hey, why don't you turn off the lights? Hey, why don't you turn off the lights?
Oh, geez, very labor intensive. Even the concrete, it was all hand, they carried all of it. All right, I'm gonna make sure we've got this. Make sure we get these back here. There we go. All right, back through the lemon squeeze, guys. Just kind of watch yourself. Get back into the chapel. I'll show you one more thing, and then I'll turn it over.
Yeah, 32. The tinkies. Tinkles.
No, same temperature.
Since they took the cable change,
Yeah.
2 feet in.
That limestone, the limestone of the cave itself it's not a conductor, but it really holds that heat. And so it keeps it pretty steady. No, you know.
They formed that stone on the middle. Huh? Kind of they formed that stone on the middle. Huh? This one?
Yeah. They're trying to put the concrete around it.
Why did they discover America? To find out what was on the other side of the water.
I get asked that a lot, like, what provoked them? Was there something about it? It's like just curiosity. This was pre-internet, you know, you didn't really, what do you do for fun? Explore caves. These are the photos that were taken when you guys came in. If you're interested, they're $10. If you'd like to pay cash, I have change. I can make change for you. That's not a problem. If you'd rather pay debit or credit, I will actually have these up at the table. And if not, guys, I'm not a problem.
I know.
Something you'd like to have, we can definitely take care of it.
How much they got?
$10.
10? We get it. I get it.
I'm trying to find
I have 10.
We'll get it out, then we'll pay them right now.
But like I say, you guys are
10
interested,
10 is enough.
just $10 there for you. You guys have any questions? Right, thank you guys. Thank you for coming to see us. Thank you guys, we appreciate it. Just saw you.
Yeah, you're bring it.
All right. Get this there, we are.
All right, there
Thank
you
you
go.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to see us. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to spend some time with us. Thank you for having us.
Yes?
Yeah, you need a picture closer.
Do I need to turn around? Yes.
No, this ain't gonna do nothing.
Huh?
It's too bright in the background.
Thank you so much.